Okay, now for us, the main thing is we're learning to solve again some equations. So I need to review with you how we're going to solve equations. All right, now again, today I'm really helping you with your addition, subtraction, multiplication, divisions with fractions and with decimals. Everything's mixed up with positives and negatives. All right, so the first thing we're going to review is if I have addition, right? If I'm trying to solve something like this, how do I undo addition? Subtraction. All right, so when you see addition, you're going to do subtraction. If you see subtraction, I'm going to do what? Addition. When you see multiplication, you're going to do what? Division. When you see division, you're going to do what? Now there's one other thing. All right, it's a fraction. All right, so if I had, for example, 2/3 x is equal to 12, to undo a fraction, we say multiply by the reciprocal. So what would be the reciprocal of 2/3? 3/2. All right, it would be 3/2. All right, so you're looking at this number, just like if it was a division problem. We talked about division of fractions, you multiply by the reciprocal. That's how you're going to solve equations with fractions. All right, now specifically, this is multiplication. All right, if it was, for example, 2/3 plus x, we have to subtract the 2/3 because it's held together with addition. All right, yes.
For the reciprocal, it's like at the end of the problem. Like you flip it at the end of the problem.
No, that's okay. And we're starting off with a fraction on number 2. All right, so it'll be easy for me to show you. All right, now look, we were able to get all the odds done in the last class. All right, I'm expecting to get all the evens done. All right, now we also had lots of good questions in the last class as well. All right, because people forgot. All right, and I'm expecting you to forget a little bit. But that's why I've done fractions like 3 times this year. All right, I really want you to be good at fractions and decimals. All right, so here we go. The first thing I want everybody to do is I want everybody to take a look at that. And I'm just going to copy it so I can get it out of the way and show you something. This is a fraction. All right, so I want you to see it when you're solving an equation with a fraction, you multiply by the reciprocal. So what is the reciprocal of -1/5?
-5/1.
That is correct. -5/1. So I want everybody to put -5/1, squeeze it in there, however you want. That means I multiply this side of the equation by -5/1 also. Now, what I'm trying to show you now is the 5s do what to each other? Cancel out. Now, do I really need the 1? No, I really don't need the 1. All right, but I just put it there to show you the reciprocal. I put it there to show you the reciprocal. Okay, now I need someone to tell me what's a negative times a negative. Positive. So underneath that, you're just going to write m equals, and of course, most of you can tell me that 15 times 5 is what? Is 75. All right, now stop and take a look at what we did. All right, because I kind of want to explain as we're going. I want to explain as we are going. All right, and some of you guys dip down a little bit, so I want to get your grade back up. All right, tell me.
Is it what when it's you do the reciprocal and it's 5/1, it's not just 5?
Yes. Yeah, 5/1 is 5. That's correct. That's why I said technically I really don't need that 1 there. All right, but I put it there because it's just a different fraction. It's just 1 on the bottom. Okay, we got lots of fractions coming up. All right, yes.
So all we do is just multiply 15 and 5.
That's correct. All right, because then what you would be doing is after that dividing by 1. You with me? All right, so now let's take a look at number 4. Again, what's the reciprocal of 1/2? 2/1. That is absolutely correct. So because you know that, all right, what I'm going to do now is just go ahead and multiply by the reciprocal. But we just said, do I really need it 2/1?
Just 2 times 12.
Just 2 times 12. That's exactly what I want you to say. And then the 2's cancel out. So you're left with U equals 24. All right, U equals 24. All right, now here we go with number 6. All right, now is this a reciprocal problem?
No, because it's.
No, because it's addition and subtraction. How do I undo minus 5/9? You add 5/9. All right, now what we're talking about is this. How do we add fractions? In order to add fractions, the denominators have to be what? They have to be the same denominators. All right, because they have to be the same denominators, what is the common denominator here? 9. So I need to multiply the first fraction by what? So that's 3/9 plus 5/9. And of course, we can say that's just what? 8/9. All right. Now, any questions? I just can't help if you're not willing to pay attention. Number one, listen to what I'm saying, then ask when you have a question. All right, ERBs are coming up, and big part of getting into private school is ERBs. All right, so I want to help you. All right, make sure you're doing a good job. What?
How did you get 8?
Because we just added these two, kiddo.
Um,
Right, because they're both positive. Because they're both positive, you just add them.
no, at least.
Well, no. You're adding, okay, I see what you're looking at. You're adding these two fractions, right? Not these two, because these don't have, remember, these don't have the same denominator. All right, so here we go. Let's take a look at number 8 now. All right, number 8's a really nice one again. So what are we doing?
Oh, can I check?
Tell me what to do.
So it's y minus, but do you change it in
How do I undo addition?
4 times 2
How do I undo addition?
subtraction?
Subtraction. So minus, everybody's putting minus 3 3/4. Minus 3 3/4. Is that desk just annoying you?
Yeah.
Here, you want to switch desks? I'll pull that one out. Let's do that. All right, so everybody cross that out. All right, now while I'm changing out a desk, I want everybody to get the common denominators and decide whether you have to add or whether you have to subtract. Everybody try to get the answer. I'll be with you in 30 seconds. Now, if this one starts squeaking, it's not gonna. All right, here we go. So once again, do we have a common denominator here? No, there isn't a common denominator. All right, so because, first I need someone to tell me, am I going to add the fractions or subtract them?
Subtract.
Add them. We're adding them because they're both what? They're both negative. Come on, no daydreaming. You're adding them because they're both negative. You're adding them because they're both negative. But in order to add or subtract fractions, you have to have a common denominator. So you're looking at the 3 and you're looking at the 4 and telling me what common denominator is there. 12, whoever said that, thank you. So we're putting a 12 down. And we're putting a 12 down. Now at this stage of the game, you're just asking yourself, what did I multiply the first fraction by to get 12? I multiplied it by what? 4. So I have to multiply the numerator by 4. So multiply that by 4, multiply that by 4. So the first fraction becomes 8/12. And the second fraction, what am I multiplying by?
Nothing.
Come on, 3 times 3. So that fraction becomes 9/12. Now, we already said, what am I doing to the two fractions? Adding them. So altogether, 17 over 12. And what about the whole numbers?
That would be 8.
-8. All right, now everyone in here knows you can't leave a mixed with an improper. So come on now. Everybody in here should be able to tell me this is negative what?
7.
Negative
So -9 and 5/12.
-9 and 5/12. All right, the reason why it's not 7 is because this fraction right here, believe it or not, is also negative. You with me? It's also negative. All right, now again, good review. If you're not sure, now's the time because you're going to have very similar problems on the odds. All right, so here we go. Let's take a look at 10. Okay, we're multiplying by a fraction. So how do I undo multiplying a fraction? Somebody tell him. How do I get rid of the negative 3/4? Reciprocal. You're doing the reciprocal. What is the reciprocal of negative 3/4?
Positive.
Nope. The sign stays the same.
-4.
Yep, you're going to write negative 4/3 right next to it. Write negative 4/3 right next to it. And what you're supposed to see is the 3's cancel and the what cancel? The 4's cancel.
Wait, if you do the reciprocal, why wouldn't you just make it, like a positive?
Because the reciprocal is the same sign. Do the same sign, not the opposite sign. Okay, for reciprocals. All right, for addition and subtraction, you do the opposite sign. If it's plus, you do minus. If it's minus, you do plus. For multiplication and division, it's always the same sign. Okay, so now R. Now everybody knows negative times a negative is a what? Positive. What happens to the two 4's? They cancel out. So the final answer is 1/3. All right, now really and truly, guys, this is the last chance I'm really going to have to help you with fractions. All right, next year I don't stop and say, here's how we do fractions. We're not doing it next year. You're going to know it next year. All right, last chance. If you don't know, right, speak up. Yes, good for you.
I have a question. It's not about the fraction. It's about, would you divide if it was a decimal?
Well, when I get there, we'll do it. Okay, you're a little bit ahead of me, right? Yeah, that's why you're asking questions, because I haven't explained it yet. All right, here we go. Let's look at 12 again, right here. Come on now, everybody do this one real quick. I'm going to copy, and then let's see if you get it correct. Put down the work. All right, what is the, go ahead, Graham.
So it'd be -10/7.
That's what I want everybody to write down. -10/7. Just a second. -10/7. Now, tell me,
Which that cancels out. the left
these
side.
cancel out the left side.
Then it'd be, you could do 21/1,
Yes?
which would be, and would you multiply?
No, I would reduce first. Cross reduce, remember?
Yeah, so it would be -9.
Well, how many, we're looking at 21 and 7. 7 goes into 7 how many times?
Oh, once.
And 7 goes into 21.
3.
There you go. And then a positive times a negative is a,
Oh, negative.
and then 3 times -10.
Is -3.
There's the answer, -30. All right, that's the best I can do, guys. That's the best I can do. You have to do it. All right, you have to try on your own. Then you can see what you know about the fractions. All right, here we go. Let's continue. 14. All right, now I'm with addition. All right, so how do I undo addition, Mr. Cappy?
So you subtract -4/7.
Negative,
1 and 4/7.
yes,
And then
subtracting
just
-1 4/7. And then you're supposed to look at this and say, these guys cancel.
And then the other one would be.
Now be careful for a second. Let me just write this. W equals.
and then
Now, before I do any work, I have to get a
common denominator. So
common denominator.
-1 and then 12/21 for the bottom number.
Okay, yes. Now, again, I'm really happy with the fact that I just want you to tell me what the fraction is. The common denominator is 21. So the top fraction would be what?
3, 7, 21.
7/21. You don't have to put times 7 anymore. Unless you just don't know how to do the fractions quite
And the
yet.
other one is -1 and 12/21.
-1 and 12 over 21. Now we have a problem here.
Subtract them, but you can't because.
You can't, so I have to do what?
Borrow
All right, hold up. Let me stay with you. I borrow from the 3 and make it a what?
2.
Now, do you remember how to borrow? What do I make this 7 right here?
Wouldn't you make that a 14?
No, 28, because remember, the rule is when you borrow, you add the
yeah.
numerator and the denominator.
Mhm.
All right, you add the numerator and denominator when you borrow, so that becomes 28 over 21. And now you can do the subtraction.
And then, yeah, so then that would be 28 minus 12, which would be 14. Wait,
8
no,
minus 2.
sorry, 6. 26. 6.
Yep, and then 2 minus 1.
2 minus 1, 1.
There you have it. 1 and 16 over 21. All right, that's just a really good review of fractions. Really good review of fractions. Just keep the front, Mr. Cappy. There's nothing going on in the back that you need to know about. All right. You're messing up because you're playing around. What?
So when you make the 3 a 2, is that because of the -1?
No, because I borrowed. I can't do 7 minus 12. I cannot,
Okay, yeah.
right? I cannot do 7 minus 12. So I have to borrow from the 3, which makes it a 2.
Okay.
You with me?
Yeah.
We got more. All right, here we go. 16. All right. Now we've got a couple decimals here. All right, how do I undo minus 8.93? What do we do?
You
Add 8.93. So again, everybody put plus 8.93 plus 8.93. So W is equal to, now am I adding or subtracting? Yeah, it is 6.93. Now, I really don't want people to put 8.93 minus 2.00. That was what I would teach you in like 6th grade. All right, I want you to be able to say, okay, I know the signs are different, so I have to subtract. The bigger number goes on top. So it's 8.93 minus 2, which is, like she said, 6.93. 6.93. All right, anybody have any questions? Any questions? Okay, keeping going. Here we go, 18 again, another fraction. All right, come on, Claire. What am I multiplying by?
-2/1.
Yes. Now, I'm okay with you saying 2/1, but do I have to do 2/1?
No.
I can just say -2. And it doesn't matter if you want to do 2/1, I'm totally happy with that. But I just want to make sure I'm clear. So I'm going to multiply this by -2. All right, these guys do what to each other?
Cancel out.
So what's your final answer, Claire?
So then 22 times -2.
Yep.
is, 44.
Yes,
-44.
yes, thank you, girl. -44, good job. I'm happy with that. All right, now, again, like I said, now I'm moving a little bit faster. All right, if you forgot about fractions, you forgot something about a decimal, you can tell me. All right, here we go. Now, same principle here. London, what do I need to do?
So you would multiply by reciprocal,
Yep, and what's the reciprocal?
15,
That's correct.
and then you do that on the other side,
Okay,
and then 15 would cancel out.
these do, yes. Now, I'm gonna try to help you now. Listen to me, guys. Look up, look up, look up. Now, Ryan, do you know what 45 times 15 is?
45 times 15
Uh-huh. What is it, James?
675.
Now, did you do that in your head or did you multiply it out?
No,
Tell me how.
I just did 450 or 45 times 100, and then it's 450. 450 is 2.5.
Yes, you're amazing. Anytime you multiply by 15, you can multiply by 10, which is 450. Then you divide that by 2, which is 225. Right? Then you add it together, 675. That's how I want you to do it mentally. Everybody in here can do that. Anytime you multiply by 15, you multiply by 10, cut it in half and add it together. All right, nothing to that. 675. Thank you for that, James. Okay, now 22 on the test. This was always some issues. All right. So Jacob, what do I have to do here?
You have to make the positive 4 into a negative.
Yeah, we're subtracting 4 from both sides. Now, personally, I used to think this was super easy, but kids find this hard. So what's the final answer here?
Negative
And
and 3/4.
that is correct. Negative 10 and 3/4. See, we don't have to do anything because we're adding them together. The 6 and the 4 makes the 10 and the 3/4 comes along. So that's why it's negative 10 and 3/4. All right, if we were subtracting, it would be a little bit different. All right, anybody have any questions with 22? Tell me.
Up to negative is like a positive.
That's when you're multiplying or dividing, right? If you owe your mom 6 and you owe your dad 4, that means you owe 10. You don't have 10, right?
Mm.
So now, this one was the nice one also. Tell me. That's correct. Add 3 and 3/4. Add 3 and 3/4. But am I really adding? No, you're not, because you have a positive and a negative. So what's the rule when you do positive and negative? Subtract them. Now remember, I also told you that the large number should go on top. The large number should go on top. Now we're subtracting, right? So what happens to the 3/4? Yes, they cancel. It was just 2. Does that make sense now? Now, again, I really hope, guys, I'm not trying to nag or anything, but I'm trying to make sure you know how to do fractions. All right, thank you. I don't ever care, okay? I feel like you're gonna ask me a question. All right. Everybody's good with that being 2. Everybody's okay with that being 2. All right, let's continue on. Let's knock out some decimals now. All right, so it's still multiplication. So again, how do I undo multiplication? Division. So for whatever reason, this is a weakness for kids. Divide this by 5.5. Divide this by 5.5. All right. So now I know G is, my recommendation is tell me if it's positive or negative first. What is it? Definitely a negative. Definitely a negative. Or because a negative divided by a positive is a negative. All right. Now, again, let's just review this little policy right here. Anytime you have a decimal, we want to move it over and move this decimal over. So you should be able to look at that and say that's really 220 divided by what? 55. Now, of course, Ryan knew that was what? 4. Okay, you can just look at that. Some people can look at that and say it's 4, but let's just say you don't see that right off the bat as just 4. So everybody should be able to say what number goes into 22 and what number goes into 55. What number? 11. So I'm just dividing by 11. When I divide by 11, that becomes 20 over 5. All right. So once again, I'm just trying to show you how you can manipulate numbers so you can see the answer without the calculator. And this is really like the last big chance I get to show you how to do some good mental math. All right, everybody should want to know to do that. All right, it just takes a little practice. All right, so the correct answer was in fact -4. All right, hopefully you're following along with me, and I want you to ask.
On the ERBs, are we gonna have calculators?
No. What?
What would you do if it wasn't like, you could do it like that, like, what if it was like 225 and then.
Well, you would
divide
divide it by 5 then. All right, I really don't want to talk about what ifs because I have all the what ifs covered on the worksheet. Okay. All right, let's talk about 28. This is another really good problem. All right, super annoying problem. But hopefully it could be obvious. So what do I have to divide by? 7.9. So I'm going to do 7.9. All right. Now, really, I don't want to move the decimal once. I need to move the decimal how many times? Twice. So when I move it twice, the top number is what?
1,185.
And the bottom number is,
700.
wow, thank you very much, 790. Now, because this is annoying, right? What number goes into both numbers? 5. So we're going to start with that. All right, I want to break it down. All right, so we're going to divide by 5. All right, so if I divide the top by 5, I'm going to divide the bottom by 5. Now, come on, stay with me now. 5 goes into 11 how many times? Twice, with how many left over? 1. So I put a 1 in the corner here. 5 goes into 18. 5 goes into 18 3 times, doesn't matter. How many left over? 3. So now 5 goes into 35, 7 times. Now 5 goes into 7, how many times? With how many left over? 2. 5 goes into 29. 5 goes into 29, 5 times. How much left over? 4. 5 goes into 40, 8 times. Is everybody okay with that? Yes.
Whatever your answer is, do you move the decimal back twice though?
Yeah.
That's what-
No, I don't know what you mean.
Like, whatever your answer is, do you move the decimal back twice since you moved it forward twice?
No, because I did it both. So what I technically did is I just multiplied this by 100 and this by 100. That's all I did. Right? And 100 over 100 is 1. That's why that's legal.
Okay.
All right, now I'm trying to figure out, does 237 and 158? I don't even know if there's anything common on that. Now, I'm agreeing with you that we should check. 3 definitely goes into the top. Why does 3 go into the top? Because when we add the digits, it comes up to what? 12. But if I add the digits down here, does it come up? No. So it can't be divisible by 3, can't be divisible by 6, can't be divisible by 2. All right, definitely not divisible by 4. So Ryan, does that reduce anymore?
Not to my knowledge.
Yeah, I don't think so. So this was a little bit strange. All right, so we're going to leave it as y equals 237 over 158. All right, anybody have any questions with that? All right, let's have some more fun. All right, 30. Okay, guys, back to some decimals. James, what am I doing on 30?
Would you subtract?
Yes.
3.85?
Subtracting 3.85, subtracting 3.85. Now the question is, do you add them or do you subtract them? Add them because they're both what?
Negative.
They're both negative. That is correct.
So it would be -5.9.
Yes, -5.95 is good. -5.95. Does anybody have any questions with those decimals? Yes, sir.
I do. Wait, so So I added it, actually, I see my oversight.
You see it? Okay, good. All right, let's take a look now. Oh, you got another
I
question?
thought, well, actually, I guess, but I thought it was, it's gonna be 5.86.
No, because you have to line up the decimals, right? That's where you have to be careful on. That's why the decimals cause problems on the ERBs if you're not careful.
Oh,
All right, let's take a look at 32. Okay, I like this one. How do I get rid of a minus 4.2? You add 4.2. Add 4.2. And now when I add the 4.2, all right, am I really adding or am I subtracting? Does everybody agree with me? I'm subtracting. So now what's 4.2 minus 1? Yeah, don't forget, this is 1.0. It's 1.0. So K is equal to 3.2. K is equal to 3.2. Anybody have any questions with that? Tell me. Which one? 24.
Oh, wait, right. Oh, yeah.
All right, here we go. Let's knock out 34. Okay, this is another good decimal. All right. So here we go. Let's go. Divide by negative 1.3. Divide by negative 1.3. So T is equal to, now we have to move the decimal how many places? Once. So it's going to be
247.
247. Don't forget the negative
130,
over what?
130.
13.
13, not 130. All right, we only moved it once. Do you hear me? Tyler?
Yeah.
Okay, now this one's kind of annoying. All right. Because 13 is hard. Does everybody agree? All right, not many people know the multiples of 13. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do 13 goes into 24. How many times? Once. So I have negative 1. How many left over? Is everybody with me? So the number now is 117. Does 13 go into 117? It does, in fact. How many times?
9 times.
9 times. Right. So the answer was negative 19. I'm saying I think that was kind of tricky.
Wait, so can you explain the box, like the
Yeah.
247 and 13 part one more time?
Yeah, let's do this. Let me show you, right? So if you were going to do 247 divided by 13, you would say 1 time, and then you would say 11, right?
Yeah.
Then you would bring down the 7.
Yeah.
So instead of doing it that way, what I used to teach myself, or what I learned, was that the subtraction part was easy for me. So I needed to put the 11 right next to that 7, and that told me what the next number was.
Could we do it like the other way?
Yeah, of course, of course, of course. I'm just trying to show you the shortcuts, the mental math. Go.
Oh, yes, can I point out something about this?
Yes, absolutely. I need some
So,
help.
I noticed that 2 plus 4 plus 7 equal 13. So I figured they were both divisible at 13.
You know what? I don't know if that's a rule or not. Because listen to this. What is 26 divided by 13?
2.
But the digits don't add up to 13. You see what I'm saying? So I think that's a coincidence. Okay, yes.
I'm kind of lost after you add 13 and 24, or divide 13 and 24.
Well, what do I get? When I do 1 times 13 is 13, right?
Yeah.
Then when you subtract, what do you get?
11.
Then you bring down the 7.
And how do you get negative 19?
Well, because I know that 9 times 13 is 117.
Okay.
And that's not an easy one. You understand me, right? Right, but I knew what ended in a 7. 9 times 3 ends in a 7. That's why I tried it. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, we're back to a fraction. So what do I do to solve a fraction?
Do the reciprocal.
Do the reciprocal. So what's the reciprocal?
Five.
Thank you, -5.
80.
Thank you. What kind of 80?
Negative.
Yeah, J is negative 80. Everybody okay with that?
Can you show me, 33 real quick?
No. Okay, 38. Here we go. Now again, this is a plus 3/5. So I have to do what? Minus 3/5. All right, this is a really good problem, so I want everybody paying attention. So common denominator would be what?
35,
So I have to multiply the second fraction by what?
7,
7. So that becomes negative what?
21.
21 over 35. Now, are you adding or subtracting these? Okay, so we need to look at this and subtract these two numbers. And what do I get? 18, right? But is it positive or negative? Because 21 is bigger than the 13. So we know it's negative 18 over 35. All right, last one. The bell should be ringing. All right, how do I get rid of a positive 9.4? Negative 9.4. Now, don't forget with decimals, when you're adding and subtracting, you have to do what to the decimals? Line them up. And if you want, you can put a 0 here. Sometimes that's helpful. Now, am I adding or subtracting these? Adding. So final answer. That's correct. Negative 21.76. All right, so now just to make myself clear, right? This is the step that needs to be done. Hold up, you're not listening. So if you give me your paper tomorrow, I might have to give you a 0. So look up. Does everybody agree? I have to put this step in.
Yeah.
And then from there, I can give the what? If I am using the what? You can use a calculator for tonight. All right.
Can you
Yes.
just scroll out to show me 33 real quick? I put 44 over 70.
All right, really good job, guys.
Because you were like,